Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh Basham Nawashai, Basham Makarbadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And I was just listening to a video and reading some information, and the Spirit jumped on me to do this quick lesson. So it shouldn't be long, but it's just going to be about the fall of Babylon and the prophecies that are in progress, literally as we breathe, as we speak. And you know, it's funny how the news and information is pushed out that really has nothing to do with reality often. All right, because the real news they don't really talk about. What you get is deceitful and distraction news, okay, or control the narrative news, because there are all kinds of news stories that never make it, you know, to the mainstream or make it to the evening news or the afternoon news or whatever news that you're watching, because that news would not be good for the status quo or for whatever it is that you know, what these elites or what the wicked are trying to accomplish. So let me grab a quick scripture. This is Jeremiah 9:8. That Edomite baby over there is crying. Wish he would just shut up. It's the Northern Kingdom babysitters, you know, being a servant to Esau. But this is Jeremiah 9:8, and it reads, "Their tongue is an arrow shot out. It speaketh deceit. One speaketh peaceably to his neighbor with his mouth, but in his heart he waits at his weight." And that's exactly it. All right, you know, as they're complaining about defunding of the police and all these other things, and you know, they get on the TV and they speak highly of these officers who shoot, who murder, execute unarmed men and women, in many cases that are not resisting in any way whatsoever. You know, I mean, how many there's. You just go do the research for yourself. I don't need to start naming names and incidents. There's more than enough video evidence to prove what I'm saying to be accurate, but you'll still have someone who will make an excuse for that or justify it in some form or fashion. All right? And that's basically what I'm going to talk about. All these police departments that are defunding, downsizing, and losing people. Losing officers at a rate to where they won't be able to sustain or manage or police the cities that they're assigned to, which is going to overload and put in danger the cops that are on the job. But before I get to that situation with the police departments is mirroring the retail apocalypse. All right, what that was going on, you know, but they were trying to downplay it and talk about it as if it's not happening. If it wasn't happening, that thing was happening, man. You know, and a lot of those stores that shut down even before the pandemic, still there were. You got to remember, the retail apocalypse was going on well before this pandemic happened. All right, and it made it even worse afterwards, and everything semi-opening back up, only for you to get the okie doke, because they're gonna give everyone false hope, and they're gonna shut things down abruptly, and people are gonna lose it, man. All right, but let me grab another quick scripture about that retail apocalypse thing. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 12, verses 3 and 4, and it reads, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and strong men shall bow themselves, and thy grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. So it's a few jobs and there's no hope. You know, they don't see a future, man. A lot of suicides and a lot of mental duress and stress here in Babylon. Okay, verse 4. And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. He shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. And another reason, not only is it that the businesses shut down left and right before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and now continually, not only that, but because you got half the population that more than believe that their lives are actually really in danger. You got a lot of people that are afraid to work. And then what did they do? Then they went and they stimulated them. All right? People are stimulated. You know, as the brother said, and I actually had to laugh about it when I heard it. You know, people are stimulated and they don't want to go back to work. Especially the people who are working these low paying jobs, because a lot of them have come to the realization that just to sit home and do nothing and collect this money is actually a lot easier than getting up and going to work, working these low paying jobs, and then lose it and then get it taxed like crazy. So, you know, what's that UBI, Universal Basic Income, I think they call it. You know, so these people, what they're showing you is that they simply are not wise, and they're not apt to rule, man. I mean, it's clear that these people are not apt to rule. But let's go over. Let me read some of the stuff that I wrote down about these different police departments that are downsizing and losing police officers. All right, so we're gonna start. This is, and a majority of these came off of Fox News. This information came from Fox News, but this is public safety crisis barreling toward us as cops leave jobs, former officer warns. All right, so it is going to cause a serious public safety thing, because, you know, it's going to be a lot of incidents that happen and there's going to be no police to show up. All right, it's warm out, you know, people are all out in the park. You know, let me zoom out. I zoomed in, but you know, people are all out, and as you see, some wearing a mask and some are not, you know. And you know, this guy on the skateboard is not wearing one. The guy over there eating is not wearing one. But the point being is that you got that division. So you're gonna start having incidents. It's just a matter of time before if you see the guys on the far table behind the ladies, that they're not wearing them either. All right. So you're gonna start having a clash between people who wear masks and people who don't, the vaxxers and the non-vaxxers. You know, all the people are going to clash, man, and there's going to be no police. And then it says NYPD officers leaving at a 75% higher rate than in 2020. All right, and then you got the people who are committing child abuse by putting masks on little children, because it's been scientifically proven that the children need the oxygen for brain development. So when you're putting masks on small children, you're hurting them, their brain development. All right, but it says NYPD officers leaving at a 75% higher rate than they did in 2020. All right, Chicago police officers are retiring at twice normal rate. At least 110 officers in August and September. And I keep talking about how midsummer, late summer, gas is almost $5 a gallon here in Chicago, and it will be by then, I'm sure. And it's $5 on the West Coast and probably $5 or more on the East Coast as well. All right. So just as those the going back to the retail apocalypse thing, how that was really hurting the economy and hurting the people, and all these people were out jobs. Where you had thousands of, you know, how big businesses closing thousands of stores, you know, and thousands of stores closing all over America that were giving jobs to tens of thousands of people. Well, this whole police crisis is gonna, if you can't see how the two are connected and how it's going to create that public safety crisis, just like the former officer said. All right, and I'm gonna say former officer, but yeah, a lot of things gonna kick in October, September. I mean August and September, because you're also gonna have a lot of the people who took the double dose of the waters. We're gonna see if who was right. Which information was misinformation. If these people start dropping and having all kind of issues, we're gonna see. Time is going to tell. All right. It's just like I always say, when I was watching. I went back a couple weeks back and I rewatched The Walking Dead, and I was also watching what was it? What's that show? I mean that movie I Am Legend. And that's when it dawned on me that all the places where people were run to for safety, those were all the places that overran, which means those were the people who, and all the infections were, which means those were all the people who listened to the government, ran to the government, and took the waters, drank the waters. They drank the Kool-Aid, like Jim Jones. So basically, it dawned on me that most of the infected that weren't bit by other people. That, when the infection was breaking out, it was breaking out among the people who actually took it, not the people who didn't. That's just common sense. I've came to that understanding just watching those shows. All right, but anyway, back to this police crisis. It's Fairfax, Virginia faces prospective tailspin as exodus of police intensifies. So if you're on a plane and you lose control of the tail, well, they just compared it to that. So I'm telling you, man, it's gonna get really, really bad, really, really fast. All right, I'm gonna change the view over here. All right, it's gonna get really, really bad, really, really fast. There you go. Another two examples of maskers and no maskers. All right. Let's see. This is another one. It says Rand 66. More cops ditch Seattle Police Department as mass exodus crisis intensifies. So we already know that Seattle is like a damn near war zone. It's a political nightmare up there. Okay. And it says a lot of these cops are going to lower paying jobs. And the gig is up, man, because that was the number one job that a white supremacist could get. Where he can actually have direct contact and hands-on involvement in the oppression and suppression of the Israelites. And now that gig is up. So they're not, there are a lot of guys that are just ditching it. Because I've heard the Edomites say that it's not what it used to be when they're talking to the young police prospects. It's not the way you can't beat up, shoot, kill, beat the hell out of a spig or a nigga, because where I'm sitting, there's a few, that's Northern Kingdom. I mean, there's a few Southern Kingdom, but it's mostly Northern, because this was once a Northern Kingdom neighborhood. Now it's been invaded by and taken over by all these Edomites. All right, and there's a lot of times with Jake will be getting roughed up by the cops around here, but that's starting to change. All right. Next city, New Jersey. New Jersey facing police department shortages. Okay, the Philly Inquirer, Philly PD, and beyond. So I guess other city things that deal with the public are struggling with shortage of police surge in mass retirements. So a lot of cops are just retiring, man. They're retiring. They're quitting. Okay. It says Baltimore and Albany. So in Baltimore the same thing. Albany the same thing. Portland quitting and taking lower paying jobs. Okay, so just like that retail apocalypse, you're having a law enforcement apocalypse, and just like the one guy said, he said that this is it's going to be a safety crisis, and the one guy said that it's going to send society into a tailspin. Okay? And with that in mind, let me read a couple of scriptures, man. All right, let me read a couple scriptures. This is 2nd Ezra. Because low key, this is kind of happening on a low scale. It's been happening, but it's gonna go, full red, full blown cold red, man. Because it's been like, how did Esau have all them colors, yellow, green, and all that? Well, it's been orange these last couple years as far as public safety, with crowd control and riots and that whole sort of thing. But it's gonna get to the point where it's gonna go full blown cold red in the entire country. But this is 2nd Ezra 15. Starting at verse 14, and it reads, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." So, all the different social groups, racial groups, and even the people that are against the police departments. People are going to fight against cops and former cops. Military is going to be against the police. Esau versus Jacob, and then Esau versus Esau. Because you got to remember, man, Esau is more divided than anyone. Because you got the Edomites that completely and totally hate Jake and will do anything necessary to keep Jake oppressed. And then you got Esau, Edom, that don't necessarily like Jake, but know that they need Jake in order for this society to continue, and that they entreat Jake well, just so that they could keep their status. You have the ones who are wise enough to understand that. We got to let up on the oppression and give them something just to keep them under our boot. And you got, and a lot of Edomites understand that, but then you got those who don't. All right. Verse 16. "For there shall be sedition among men, and invaded one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And we've seen all sorts of examples of that over the last couple of years, especially in going back to January and prior to that, with these attempted abductions of government and figures, and that whole sort of thing. Verse 18. No, verse 17. "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." I was training my client not about an hour ago, and he told me the only reason he took the vaccinations is because he knows that he wants to travel, and he won't be able to travel if he didn't take them. He said that was the only reason he did it, and that he feels fine. And little does he know. So I'm sitting back watching him, because about 3-4 more months, we're gonna see what happens to him. Okay? Or people like him who did the same thing. Verse 18. "For because their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." So a lot of these neighborhoods are going to be on fire. A lot of these houses are going to be on fire. All right? This nice little quaint park to sit right in the middle of this neighborhood with all these multi-million dollar homes and condos all over the place in this particular neighborhood. All right. And then you also have that street element. So they're going to clash, man, because you got a lot of homeless people and street people that also congregate in this particular park. Verse 19. "And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but they shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." There's a lot of single women in this neighborhood that live in condos and houses alone. They got the houses from their husbands, through divorces and things like that. Those women are going to be the first targets of their very neighbors. All right, when their neighbors start getting low on substance, when the refrigerators are low and there's no meat, no canned goods, they're gonna go right to those women's houses that they know live alone. right? All that, I don't need no man, I'm a single woman, hear me roar. We gonna see. We gonna see. All right, one last couple scriptures. Same chapter 15. I'm jumping to 2nd Ezra 15. I'm gonna jump to 22. And it says, my right hand shall not spare sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. So all the sinners of our people, so because only an Israelite can sin, because only they're under the law, the Lord's going to destroy them. And then all you who spill blood of our own people, and especially of you heathen, because the Lord will destroy a sinner, an Israelite, but he's still going to punish you heathen for putting your hands on him. All right? His ways are not your ways. You guys don't understand, man. All right? Verse 23. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and he hath consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that kindle. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith Yahweh. So the law still stand. Commandments still stand. You know, for those of you who believe that, foolishly believe and think that the laws have been done away with. All right, there's going to be a recompense for breaking the Lord's laws, for transgression of laws, and for you heathens putting your hands on the people of the Lord. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Awashai Bashim Rakakwadash Wa Abba Shalom.